We've changed some people. Clearly, when we identified the strategy we need to implement, we didn't have the skill sets, certainly at the top of the company, to implement that. So we brought some key talent in to go and drive that. But then actually to change the thousands of other people in the organization, that's something you can't do overnight. But you have to put things in place that begin to make that change. And I talk about cultural change a lot in the organization. And we're 2 or 3 years into it, and I know we still have a long way to go. So there's lots of tools, lots of things we do, performance reviews, give people feedback, a lot of communication going on, lots of things we're doing to try to change that culture. We're driving values, back to what I said before, into the organization that underpins the strategy. And I measure people right the way through the organization against those values. I know it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a long time. But you have to put those tools in place. You have to change certain areas where the skill sets and the values are not really there. So it's a combination of those things.
Anyone else want to add to that?
Well, when you talk about individual behavior in people, then I think it's a management process. So you're talking about a manager having a coaching session with people that work for them to try to help them understand how their behavior influences the event. Right, as a manager, I was always trained that you can't interpret intent, right? I don't know what the person's trying to do. I can only interpret behavior. And so, I was trained as a sales manager, right, working in the field. So you worked with your sales reps, you looked at their behavior, you engaged them in a conversation about how they believe their behavior influenced the customer interaction, by way of example. So I think you can, and I believe you can change behavior through, having good management in place that knows what they want and can help somebody understand if they're delivering against that or they're not delivering against it. So from that perspective, it's behavioral. You gave us a binary question. Do you change the people or not? I think there's an element of changing the people that's important. When you've tried a management process to bring about change and it's not happening. So, then I think you say, you know what, I'm just not a happy camper and I got to do something different. But I think there's an element of both. And if you have a solid organization and there's a good management process, as Geraint said, then you use that process to try to influence the culture. But it's, culture's about what people do when you're not there, not when you are there. So the question is, can you really change the culture? And sometimes you change the people to do it.
Do you want to add anything?
I would agree with what's just been said. I would say that management, a CEO's job, is all about change. I mean, there's nothing magic in that. It is managing change and leading the organisation to respond to the trends and opportunities that are there out in the marketplace. So I don't think you never stop. I don't believe in a change program. I think change is what I was managing all the time. I think there is some fundamental points where you do change the people, and if people have become sort of institutionalized underperformers, keep your head down, this too will pass, lowball the budget, that sort of, we all know these tricks. I probably even thought about it myself once or twice. And it comes a point where, somebody isn't, going to fit in with, an organisation which has become restlessly ambitious, then you've got to say you probably need to seek your fortune elsewhere. But I think finally I would say sending signals from the top on what's important around here is very important. So if you really are talking customers, you, the chief executive, has got to be seen to be out there really listening, responding to and relating to customers, and whether it's through focus groups or analysing customer data, or actually, in my case, being seen to be out there in the stores and pubs and restaurants and hotels and talking to customers, sitting down and talking to them. So the signals you send out are really important.